The reason why people want to go to heaven or they want to go to the new earth is because they don't know how to love here. So they're trying to go to some place where they think that it will fix everything, but there's nothing broken. The only thing that's broken is our ability to see truth and love.
Don't need you. Tell me what I can and can't do. I'm in charge of what I feel. It's just a game I play for fun, but I already.
Hi, my name is Amie. Like, comment, and subscribe to Lux Media Studios. They are awesome. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Loving Your Life, Be Authentically You with me, Amie. I am so happy you have come to join us for this wonderful vodcast that we're going to have. Also, if you like the music that you heard at the beginning, that is my daughter, True_ISTINA.music official, True Istina. She is amazing. She's going to have some more videos coming out soon and some new music. So please go check her out and show her some love. Also, if you are in need of a happiness coach, because I can help you if you're not feeling like there's something just missing in your life, please go check out thetruehappiness.com, where you can come and reach out to me and we can have a free consultation and just talk about how I can help you in achieving your inner happiness. But without further ado, I am so excited for this guest. So this gentleman, his name is Ryan Keyes. He's an author, alternative practitioner, and transformational coach who blends spiritual wisdom with practical insights. As the voice behind the book, Putting the Soul Back in Soulmates, Ryan navigates the complex terrain of love, intimacy, and personal growth. His approach is deeply rooted in spirituality and holistic well-being, making him a beacon for those seeking profound transformation. Ryan is not just a coach. He's a guide to unlocking the mysteries of the heart and soul. Tune into his podcast, the Foreplay Podcast, under Intimacy Link, where Ryan dives into the worlds of love, sex, dating, and relationships, sparking conversations that promise to enlighten, entertain, and inspire. Join him as he explores how to live fully and love deeply, making every interaction a step towards a more passionate life. I love that. I think that is phenomenal. We all need love in our lives, and absolutely. And I'm so happy you're here, Ryan.
Yeah, some people pause on the Foreplay podcast part.
It's a natural part of life, and it is something that we do need. And so I believe in it.
Well, and if you notice, there's no E in that. So it's like actually for the play, right?
Ah, true.
People really look and they're like, oh, wait, okay, so that's different.
That is. So tell me, how did you start what you do? Like, tell me about what you do exactly. I'd like to hear.
Well, I'm a menagerie. I'm a Gemini, so it's like I can do anything at all the times.
Okay.
Geminis are like, I feel like a wizard sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I reach into my bag and then suddenly it's showtime or it's time to like fix a car or something. I'm fixing relationships. I'm helping people with their whole body wellness. And then I'm also actually like, and they could fix their car or work on their house.
Can do any of it. You could do any of it. Well, what made you go into that? Like, where did that stem from?
To be honest, I didn't want to go into it, to be technically honest, because I was not one that liked intimacy when I was younger. I didn't like to be hugged. I didn't like to be, my mom was overly loving. My dad was overly loving. And I was like, stop it, guys. You're gonna drop me off at school. Don't call me baby. I'm getting out of they let me out back here. Like I'd try to get out like a block away and walk on my own. So I was, and then my dad died when I was at an early age. So I became like Scrooge in a way when it came to my, I see I'm even choking up, right? So it's like, so in my own heart, I went to the acting side of it. So I only felt when I was moving on film. So if I was in the soap opera and I was doing a scene, I would live out my life in the safety of the fourth wall being the audience. And I started falling into all these things. Like I got asked to be a spokesperson for Together, that was this matchmaking service. I ended up working with eHarmony and Match.com, and I ended up working. One of my friends was Greg Brandt, the guy that did "You're Not." He's Not That Into You. I was on his first episode of his talk show, like back in the day, and then I worked on Sex and the City a little bit, like in writing commentary and reading jokes, and then even worked at Comedy Central, and it was always about love. I'm like, what is going on? It's a conspiracy from God.
Mhm.
I'm like, get away from me, Cupid! I'm going to kill you. Like, hey, put that bow up, and you and Rumi with the bow. Like, stop it. And but to be quite honest, though, when I was 15, if I time travel backwards, the way I survived school, because I was short and fat and I got beat up every single day, tied to a flagpole, stuffed in a locker, jockstrap on my head, the whole 9 yards. The way I survived, I found out I could write poetry. So I started writing the inserts for the cards for the football team, for their
Wow.
girlfriends.
Oh
I
my
was like, yeah,
gosh.
that was Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And then instead of running for office, I was like, I'm gonna write some Henry Miller up in here. So their girls were so happy and they were like getting so lucky and they were like, thanks, Ryan. So when I would have a bully come up, it'd be like, bam, the front line would just like drop on him.
Wow.
So, so there was a knack to write
Mhm.
in the beginning, but I didn't date till I was like 18.
Mhm.
And I was just uncomfortable dating and being hugged, and then even in when I would get with eHarmony, I had this unusual skill to match people. Like I got my mom married on eHarmony. So it's like, and then even now, like I'm supposed to marry a couple in October that I worked with. I got another couple in next July that want me to marry them. And I'm like, wow, this is just crazy. So it was kind of like it's mystical. I feel like I walked into like that Brigadoon, the island in the mist, and I like stayed.
Wow, that's amazing. So it just kind of came to you, like literally,
Unfortunately, yeah.
unfortunately. Well,
Yeah.
how do you feel about it now? Like, are you something that you now, of course, you like, right? I'm assuming because you are doing this, or is it
It's
something you're
still a
still
struggle.
fighting?
It's still a struggle.
Really?
Here's the struggle that I face. One is I call it in the world, not of the world, right? So I'm working now. Intimacy Inc. is a multifaceted relationship romance media company where I'm going to, nobody would, I write romance novels, but nobody will pick me up because I'm a man.
Hmm.
Sexist to the core. I'm like, I was like, women, you've been fighting for your rights the whole time. And I'm a man that can write romance, but that's not acceptable. So I have to build my own company to do it. And I guess I will. So, so I'm writing two parallel series. They're gothic romance series, right? And they were in my head since having my near death when I was 21. Like I got
Wow.
a download of the entire like 10,000 years of information on these stories. So I decided I would finally sit down and write them out, and I write them out regularly. And right now I'm 4.5 books in on one series, and then 2 books in on the other. Both series will have 10 books. They're a whole universe. They interlap. Um, it's like a mixture of Danielle Steele meets Anne Rice with a little bit of Highway to Heaven in it. You know,
Yeah,
Michael
okay.
Landon. It's
Yeah.
mine's more like Highway from Hell, right? Because it's like the road to perdition. It's like how do you get back redemption, right? So there's always a moral. Like there's so I have that romance that just floods through me, and it is in my soul. I
Mhm.
love rom coms. I'm addicted to K dramas, right?
Mhm.
The Korean dramas I'm just addicted to, and then I love like I've seen every version of the Christmas Prince. You would not. I mean, I should work for Hallmark. I even worked on The Bachelor with Andrew Firestone, right? So I was like worked over the girls' house, and then I worked for another Bachelor. But and I worked on Blind Date. It just like the first. Remember Blind Date? It was like the original like documentary. A date, follow the guys.
Yeah.
So it just kept pushing me into these sectors where I was doing this work. And I was a bad boy when I was because I was on soap and everything else. So from 26 to 33, I did date, but I was also just destructive with my love life. Right. On purpose, unconsciously on purpose.
Okay.
So, but I do love it when I speak to people and help them find love within themselves. So that part I really enjoy. It makes me feel really connected because I see people, right? I see them, and how I see them. If they could see themselves, they would be massively in love with themselves. Because I see people like with like this like auric field, and not all. Well, let me rephrase that. Not all people are fantastic. Some people are like, oh, get away from that person. But the majority of people really are just, it's like they can't see themselves. Like it's like they're looking through fogged up windows. And then I try to relate everybody back to a house, right? And try to bring people that, like again, happenstance. I just got handed a group of 4,000 people called Date with Destiny, a Facebook group. Boom, just handed to me. The guy's like, I think you should do it. It's good. I'm going to take a break and it's yours. I was like, okay.
Wow.
So, I mean, technically, I mean, if I look at it like I've coached or worked with, I've done 5,000 sessions since 2017. And I've done 500 videos on YouTube. When I stopped talking about love and started talking about consciousness, my views went down. When I start talking about love, my views go up. So God is like definitely in the back seat saying, hey, I think you should talk about love.
Exactly.
And then I'm rolling my eyes and I'm like,
I saw that.
can I not talk about consciousness? Let's get serious. We want to talk about something metaphysical. And then God comes right back and says, no, that love is everything. It's the only thing. So that's my message of where I was. And sometimes I want to squirm out of it and I'll like drift back into like wanting to talk about like, like something like Joe Dispenza or something. And I love that. And it's necessary, but then I'm like, no, I can't do it. We have a calling. I mean, after all, I don't know if you follow astrology, but my North Node is Pisces in the 5th house.
Okay.
So I'm destined for fun and for love, and for like Pisces is all gushy, and it's like I'm like Ushy the pig. I'm like, ew. Right.
Wow. Well, I'm Sagittarius, completely
Nice. Don't hit me with an arrow, please.
Completely. I'm a little bit of Venus and Cancer, or Scorpio, Venus, and the Cancer moon, but otherwise I'm total Sag.
Nice.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. So now you
Did
help
you expect
people.
that? Probably not, right?
Do what?
You didn't expect that. You just got a naked version of myself.
Yeah, I did not. I
Yeah.
did not expect that. So you're still kind of fighting against it, but yet it's still just coming at you and you're still good at it, at what
I'm
you're doing.
super good at it. And it's like, and if I really wanted to do it, by now I would have already been up where like Matthew Hussey was, right? So even like one of my friends, Evan Katz, I worked for a company called Spark. We were together before he even wrote his book, right? And I'm like, I would have like elevated into the same place if I would have adhered to my purpose.
Ah, I like that. Yes.
Right. But
Yeah.
so here's the thing, purpose and passion aren't always in alignment. Neville Goddard's a good example, if anybody knows him. His passion was to talk about consciousness, but his purpose was to teach us about love. Same thing. And when he talked about his passion of consciousness, he ended up dead and broke, like nobody, alone, like Tesla. So the idea is to balance that, merge those together, like the masculine and feminine.
Exactly. So how do you merge it together then when you want to talk about consciousness and you're also wanting to talk about love?
I just talk about conscious love.
There you go.
Believing Before Seeing, a new bestseller by Candace Barr. Order your copy today.
Well, I mean, the thing is that I've found through multiple ayahuasca journeys and near deaths that, and I almost died 18 months ago.
Mhm.
Um, I think that the main thing that I've learned, and especially from this last time, is that the reason why people want to go to heaven or they want to go to the new earth is because they don't know how to love here.
Mm.
So they're trying to go to some place where they think that it will fix everything,
Mhm.
but there's nothing broken. The only thing that's broken is our ability to see truth and love. If we all saw love, everything would be fine. We even like, and it's interesting when I think too that, like, here's the conscious love part, where technically our empathy or our telepathy, as I like to call it, it's a natural product of loving,
Mhm.
right? So, but in order to separate us from that, either we engineer it ourselves or some puppet master's doing it, but it doesn't really matter. But they make it look silly and jovial, and like people make fun of love,
Mhm.
right? Like 50 First Dates. It's like, but love is a very powerful and a very strong force. It's built countries. It's caused countries to fall, right? So love is not this weak, like little lavish, like greeting card you get on February 14th. Love is an immense force. It's the ocean. And you have to learn how to ride it. You have to learn how to float on it. And that's why I'm convinced with Peter and Jesus. Because when I died the second time, I drowned in a river doing a stunt. I was underwater for 7 minutes and I was on the other side for like 3 or 4 months with Jesus, walking with him. And he explained to me the purpose of Peter. He goes, that was emotion. He goes, you can take it as water or whatever you want. I taught him how to walk on emotions, how to float on those so that they don't pull him under into the darkness. And he said, when you see everything as love, then you'll be alive. And he said, this is why I said that only a child can enter the kingdom of God, because children see love. Children even see love in their abuser, right? So, yeah, conscious love.
That's beautiful. I'm always about that. I'm always about the love bubble. I actually call it love bubble. When you just feel like you're all in love with it's just this love and you can't even explain it. It's just there. And I have that for people and I always feel that and that connection where it's like we're all in the same vibration, we're all in the same love and it's just I don't know. There's no there's no greed, there's no jealousy. There's nothing like that. No hatred. It's complete just we're all in life together and this is love. It's a complete different feeling. And I felt it many times. And those feelings are really powerful because it's just like you're just walking like, okay. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I think that's why, like, okay, so have you ever, obviously, because you like music and whatnot, and your daughter sings. So when you sing somebody else's song, you're carrying their frequency, their emotion.
Mhm.
But when you sing your own song, right now, there's a different thing. So I had this a lot of times, like if I want to really tap into a different frequency, but I want to kind of piggyback on what's been before, I'll sing the song, but with my own lyrics.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I'm not going to do it now, though. So don't ask.
Yeah, come
No way. I got you. I headed you off at the pass. No, no, no. I'll be like Barry White. No, no. But so, and then I learned one of the things that I learned too is that the greatest secret to happiness or anything else is to learn to fall in love with breathing.
Interesting.
And when you haven't been put, I mean, if you haven't been put in a situation where you've had your breath taken away, like they even say it, oh, you took my breath away.
That's true. That's true.
Or like, did you ever like when you were like teenagers and you're like being like silly and you're like breathe into my mouth and you're like and you take their breath. That's like some kind of juvenile game that we all did in high school, I think. Right? You know what I'm talking about. You do. Everybody that's listening knows what the heck I'm talking about. Take my breath. It's like you hear it in the back. For us, we're here like, take my breath away. It's like, yes, done. Oh my God. Get on that bike, Maverick. Go, go, go. It's like, it's like, but there's this thing, right? So it's like, so when you can fall in love with breathing, and I'll tell you, when I was drowning in the river and I took my last breath, and then 18 months ago, my heart stopped and was beating at 12 beats per minute. And the doctor in the emergency room goes, we're going to stop your heart and start it again. I was like, whoa, what does that mean? He's like, hopefully you come back. Fingers crossed. I was like, thanks for the pep talk. And I was just like, at that time, I was just like, well, my dog isn't home. Can somebody please make sure he's trapped if something happens? But when you are able to fall in love with your breath, and you understand that Yahweh is actually, yes, the breath of God. The name of God is the breath.
Yeah.
And when you can fall in love with that, when you can fall in love with taking a breath, like, and hold on to it. Like I've been doing breath work for a long time, and I only do one style. I do the box breathing, 4 seconds, I say 4 to more seconds in, 4 to more seconds hold, 4 to more seconds exhale, 4 to more seconds stop. Because that's how you also can prepare for death. If like, not in a bad way, but understanding that, because I've died twice, right? So it's like, when I'm going through that portal, there's no air. You're not breathing. So you panic.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to breathe. You don't have a body. But there's a subconscious click. You're like, wait, what?
Oh my God.
Super quiet. And then, so when you're box breathing, you breathe that in and you're so thankful. It's like a worship. It's like you're worshiping love and God, because that breath is coming into you, and you hold it because it's yours. Why would you just surrender it? You want to feel it. It's like when somebody gives you like flowers, do you hand them right back? No, you pull them in and smell them, right?
You smell them and you take them in.
Exactly. And then when you exhale, when the flowers are gone, you give them back to the earth, right? You surrender them. That's what composting is. But so when you're exhaling, you're letting it go. It's like that, let it go, let it go. And then when you let it all out, there's this moment of peace, because the body's like, okay, breathe again. And you're like, no, just sit here.
Yeah.
Feel that emptiness, that silence. So I learned to fall in love with my breath through the course of life. And when I get panicked and I don't want to pursue the love path, I breathe.
Okay. Okay.
I breathe.
When you don't want to pursue the love path.
Well, I'm always pursuing love, but in the sense of like making it my message. But if you think about the message of Jesus, the most important message of 2,000 years, right? Believe it or not, was all love. So it's not like the message of love is, like we said, it's not that it's weak at all.
Right. It's powerful.
It's powerful. It's strong. And I think I just have it's so powerful, it scares me.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Because then you have to surrender to it,
Yeah.
which is not
Like
easy.
jumping off one of those buildings back in the day.
Yeah. That's a little, yeah.
It's a long fall when you live out of love.
Very much so. And when you are in love or you have love, you're opening up your heart and then you're more vulnerable.
Yeah.
And then that can also hurt and that can be painful. And heartbreak is one of the worst things that I think someone can literally go through. I mean, I have stage 4 cancer, but literally I think heartbreak can even be worse, to be honest, because it's so painful. And to be able to heal that is a journey in itself.
Yeah.
You know?
I just worked with a client of mine. She actually beat brain cancer.
Wow, that's fantastic.
She had a lot of ties to the spiritual, like metaphysical, esoteric world, right? Like the ayahuasca world and all that. And she surrendered it all. And so I worked with her because I actually went to seminary school too to be a preacher. I was going to be a preacher, right? And so she went back to Jesus, and she left ayahuasca and all the cards and all the other things because she grew up with it. It was like, and I said, a lot of times you have to go with what you know, with like where you started. And if that's where you started and there's something still there, and it was a miracle. The doctors say it's a miracle.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, and I went through cancer.
Really?
I was stage 3 melanoma.
Oh my gosh.
It was in my lymph glands and everything.
So what happened?
Um, I went through the treatment. I went through the radiation, the surgery, and the chemo. And I didn't really do anything special other than I just wouldn't give up. I had broken my back right before that. So I died in the drowning accident that threw me off. And then I was working, doing another stunt after that a couple months later, and I broke my back on a motorcycle. And I couldn't walk. So I went through a series of different therapeutic measures that I had to pay for myself. And after a year of that, I started being better. And when the physical therapist was moving around my arms, his finger stuck into my tattoo because I'm covered in tattoos, right? So he wouldn't know that, right? It's like, so he stuck it in, and he was like, you got to go to the doctor. This isn't right. And it was my lesion was about that big and about that wide. And so you're not supposed to live from that. But I've heard that a lot. You're not supposed to live. I was like, okay, that's like, I'm going to get a shirt. I survived.
Wow. Oh my
Right.
God. And you're
And
doing
then,
good now?
huh?
And you're doing good now?
I am. In fact, it was 2021 after my dog died, 11 years. I had to get hernia surgery. And, it's my second one. I had on the other side, on my right side, it's like inguinal, right? So from lifting too many weights and stuff. And so it was procedural, right? I'm just going to get another hernia surgery. They're going to fix it, put some mesh in. And then about 4 or 5 weeks, I'm really connected to the Holy Spirit, right? Or it's like a version of myself, but I can hear this lullaby, like this frequency, and then it just makes sense. And basically, I felt moved to get a tattoo around my ankle because I was leaving the earth. And the supposition is that ancient people. Did I just move? My camera just followed me. Is that weird or what?
It did.
What the heck? There we go. Okay. I was going to I went to touch my ankle right now and it just moved.
Oh,
That's
wow.
small.
Oh my
So
God.
my ankle has a band on it with the 2 wolves, like which wolf will you feed?
Okay.
And it looks tribal, like Hawaiian, like a leg band.
Yeah.
And I got that 4 weeks before. My leg swelled up and it was horrible. I limped for like 3 or 4 days. It was the worst. It's the last tattoo I'll ever get. And so I go into surgery. Everything's fine. I feel very peaceful in that voice again. Thank God you got the tattoo. Now you can get the work done. You won't leave.
Interesting.
Okay, so I'm getting that juicy juice. They're giving me that stuff. And then I see my dog at the end of the bed because I'm tripping now. I'm ready to go to surgery. And my dog looks at me and says, hey, I was a dolphin for a day. I didn't work out. So I'm going to come back. I'll find you. That was another story that's kind of crazy. And then so I go into surgery. And apparently during surgery, the doctor finds a mass the size of, let's see, about this big, my mic stopper, like that size, like this wide, and that color inside me. My lymph gland it was going into lymphoma. It had not yet metastasized and broken the wall or tapped into the bloodstream to where it would move through the body, but it was huge. So he took it out and sent it to pathology. He would have never seen it had I not gotten the tattoo because the reason why it was black was from the ink. So the ink, the tattoo saved my life.
That's amazing.
So somebody wants me here. I don't know why. I mean, I love being here. You're out. Right. But
You're
like when I'm thinking
supposed
in the
to
stream of
spread
things,
love, Ryan. You're supposed to
no,
spread
I
the
know
love.
that. But in the stream of like all creatures and all things, it's like one human on this out of 9 billion is kind of insignificant in the mathematical equation. Right. But then this mystical, heavenly, celestial stuff happens. And then I am still here with that same mission. Right. Love. And I'm like, oh, damn.
Yep. That's why. That's exactly why.
Yeah.
Ugh, I want to tell you, thank you so much for sharing all of your stories. And I want to have you on again because I know there's more. I
Yeah.
know there's so much more. Unfortunately, I'm out of time.
Yes.
But otherwise, I do want to have you on and talk more about it and what you even do for couples and the love journey and all of that. I think that's very, very powerful. And we need more of that in the world with couples as well as friendships and everything and all journeys of life.
My book it covers like a lot of stuff. Like it's like Tony Robbins says, it's 20 years of my work in like 2.5 hours or 4 hours of Audible.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
I will definitely listen to it.
Yeah, it's called Putting the Soul Back in Soulmates.
Like that.
Yeah.
I like that. It's very powerful.
And I felt moved to share the story of the survival of the cancer stuff because there's miracles happening all the time.
Right. Yeah.
All the time. Right?
It's true. It's true. And I
From one
believe
survivor to another survivor. It's
yes.
fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. And I believe that even if we're not healed physically, there's also other healings that take place.
Mhm.
And so I always believe in that too.
Yes.
In other miracles that may not be exactly what we intended, but other
Yes.
kinds of miracles.
I've helped people pass away too.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have so much more to talk about because I'm a music therapist and I did the same thing. So, oh my gosh. Okay. I have to have you back on. Awesome. Do you want to give people any of your Instagram links or anything like that before we go?
Yeah, Ryan Keys to Love with the two. It's Ryan Keys #2 Love for Instagram, and then YouTube is just Ryan Keys, and then my site is just ryankeys.com.
Perfect. Perfect. All right.
And
Well,
then you can just Google Ryan Keys, and I mean, if you just put me in Google, my pictures from Hollywood days show up. So,
okay. Awesome.
and it takes you all to the same place.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being my guest. I'm really happy you're here, and we will see you again next time. And thank you everyone for joining me for this incredible podcast. I hope you've learned so much and about love because it is very important. I hope you guys have a beautiful, blessed day. Bye.
Don't need you. Tell me what I can and can't do. I'm in charge of what I feel. It's just a game I play for fun, but I already won. I'm not gonna play